Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Felisa Bryant, and I stand here before you today as proof that transformation isn't just possible, it's necessary. This is a story of struggle, redemption, and purpose. I was raised in two very structured worlds. As a preacher's kid, I was expected to be the model child. There were rules, expectations, and constant pressure to present myself in a certain way. And as a military brat, it meant growing up with strict discipline, high expectations, and a deep respect for authority. The culture of structure and obedience still shaped everything from how I spoke to how I felt, even to how I saw myself. I learned early on how to show up strong, but not to ask for help. On the outside, I looked like I had it all together, but on the inside, I was unraveling. There was no space for vulnerability, and no one asked me how I really felt. I didn't even know how to answer that question if someone did ask me. And so I did what many young girls do when they feel unseen. I searched for love, for safety, and for escape. And in that search, I made choices. Some of those choices came with consequences. Eventually, those choices led me to a place that I never imagined. I found myself incarcerated. But that is not where my story ends, so don't feel sorry for me. Because today, I have the honor of serving, thank you. I have the honor of serving as the executive director of the IF Project, an organization that helped me reclaim my voice, reconnect my power, and become the woman I was always meant to be. And this evening, I want to share that journey with you, how I got here, what the IF Project stands for, and where we are going next. My story isn't rare. In fact, it's far too common. Over the last few decades, women's incarceration in the United States has jumped by more than 700%. And while men still make up the majority of the incarcerated women, especially women of color, are the fastest growing population behind bars. But behind those numbers are real people, survivors, mothers, women living with trauma, addiction, poverty, and pain. Most of us were struggling long before we ever entered a cell, but instead of help, we got punishment. The system was not built to heal us. It was built to break us. It tears mothers from their children. It strips away identity, dignity, and hope. And it deepens the trauma that we already carry. But what if we could change that? That's where the IF Project comes in. We're built around one simple question. If there was something that someone could have said or done to change the path that led you here, what would it have been? That question, it's not just theoretical. It opens the door. It invites reflection. It gets to the root of the pain, the systems, and the choices. We work primarily with women and individuals who identify as women because our experiences in the system are different. Many of us are incarcerated because of domestic violence, addiction, survival-based crimes, mental health struggles, and poverty. The system doesn't account for those truths, but the IF Project does. Through storytelling, mentorship, and wraparound support, the IF Project helps women process their pain and start again. We walk alongside women during their incarceration and after they're released. We provide job training, mental health support, and real resources to rebuild. Because to break the cycle of incarceration, we have to start at its roots: trauma, poverty, and lack of opportunity. When I participated in the IF project while incarcerated, it wasn't just a class, it was a lifeline. It helped me see myself differently, not just as an inmate, but as a mother, a thinker, a woman worthy of another chance. It gave me the courage to believe in who I could become. So when I got out, I didn't want to just survive. I wanted to thrive. I wanted to lead. And I wanted to help others break free the way that I had. So I went back to school. And in September of 2021, I earned my PhD in psychology. With an emphasis in cognition and instruction. Not because it was easy, but because I had something to prove, that my past did not define my future. And to be honest, I got my PhD also because I did it out of spite. I got tired of society telling me what I could and could not do. So, education became my path to purpose, to healing, to leadership. And today, as executive director of the IF Project, I lead with lived experience, with empathy, and with a fierce belief that no one is beyond redemption. This work isn't finished, and neither is my journey. Personally, I want to keep breaking barriers, to show the world what's possible for women who've been incarcerated. Professionally, I want to grow our impact so more women across the country can access healing and opportunity. Systematically, I want to help shift the narrative to fight for a justice system where healing counts as justice too. So if you remember just one thing from today, let it be this: your past does not define you, your choices do. To anyone who's ever felt stuck, ashamed, unworthy, or beyond redemption, I'm standing here as living proof that you are not your worst mistake. We all have an if moment, a moment where we get to choose a new path, to ask the hard questions, to break a cycle, to believe in something better. So I'll leave you all with this. What will you do with your if? Thank you.